Welcome. You're in the shop with Briz. It's been quite a while since you've seen me in the shop. Back in October, I experienced a life-changing event, and I guess I survived maybe a couple light heart attacks, I'm not sure. But I had a triple bypass open heart surgery October 9th, and I'm just now getting to where I can do a few things. However, I still have some problem with my chest not healing up, and it looks as though maybe in June, because I'm postponing this because of some graduations in the next month and a half, but I may have to have my chest reopened up to have my sternum rewired. So if that happens, I'm definitely not going to do or lift a finger until that thing gets healed next time. But I want to share with you what I've been working on in just, I don't know, probably a couple weeks now. And I've been piecing it together, and I apologize if it doesn't fit together like it should, because I just wasn't able to focus probably on the proper aspects. The lighting in the shop's not all that great. But I built a case to hold my digital calipers. The original plastic case that came with it, I believe I actually got it from Harbor Freight. The case, the hinges on it broke. So I made this box here to hold my calipers. It's a sliding lid. I used the inserts out of the original case. Built the box to house the inserts so that way I could put the calipers in there and slide it, and when it's setting on the shelf or in my cabinet, I can look at it and say, oh, there's my calipers. Take a few minutes and watch how I make this box. I began the project by heading out to the woodshed. This is where I store all my pallet wood that I remove the nails and all other hardware from. And I grab all the oak that I can find. The box that we're building today is made mostly out of 1/4 inch stock for the sides. The top is going to be milled down to 1/8 inch thick, as well as the bottom. I run all the boards through the planer, use a joiner to straighten out the edges, and then I take them over to the table saw, providing that I have all sides are parallel, except for the end pieces yet, which I'll be cutting them square when I find out what the final dimension should be on the length of them. Once all the pieces are cut, I glue up a couple of them, thinking that I'll be using them for either the bottom or the sliding lid. I actually ended up not using one of these that I glued up. I take them to my miter saw, straighten up the ends, and then I go back and remeasure my inserts to ensure that I get the proper fit, and then cut them to size. I pull out my box joint jig and cut all the box joints that I need to complete this. Laney helped me build that. I had some slippage on my table saw, which is proof that I need a gripper, because this being only 1/4 inch material and you're holding it down, the lip of my push sticks that I have are really just too big for it, and only holding it like that, there's too much vibration, and the board goes around. So when I was cutting my dados right here on this board, it slipped, so I had to make 2 passes. And first of all, my brain was in reverse, and I wanted to make sure that I went this direction, but for some reason I knocked the fence the other way and cut this lip a little bit too thin as compared to these. So there is a mistake right there. But this is the insert out of this, and I was a little bit concerned about it when it fits in there, if I was going to have enough clearance. And of course this board is actually going to be, I'm going to leave that as a surprise. I'm using this white board as actually a slider that's going to go in here and slide. So with a little sanding, cut it to smoothness, that's going to go in there. But just to check my clearance, I'll put this in the slot, and there's just a little bit of movement in there, so it's actually going to hold it pretty good. Now we'll check this out for a loose fit. That goes in there, and I got it just a hair over, which I'll sand that down. I'll be sanding the sides anyway, so it's naturally going to be shorter. But at least I got a good fit in there. Maybe too good right now. I don't want to sand this to fit just yet, because I got another little thing that we're going to do, and while this is in, and then I'll tear this apart when we're off camera. But I'm going to put this on top with double-sided tape, trace this out on here, and then cut both at the same time, and hopefully this oak piece will fit inside this poplar or whatever it is. If it don't work, I've got a backup plan just to use regular oak piece if this little puzzle trick doesn't work. When this lid was inside the case, I drew an outline of what was actually visible on the lid, so that I could center this piece on here using carpet tape. It's amazing how that big print program works, but I took, well, it's digital Caliper still on my scanner. I scanned a picture, a regular JPEG, and then in the big print I messed around with the gamma so that it would pick up enough of the outline of the calipers without printing everything, so it wouldn't waste ink. So with the piece of oak on the lighter board with double-sided tape, I'm going to take some Elmer's glue and go over this paper. There we go. So now I'll take and drill a very small hole, and then with my scroll saw cut the outline of this. Well, it wasn't the best. Wasn't expecting some of the problems I had. Part of it was the tape was building up underneath and catching on the bottom of my table. That's why here it looks like I have a deformed end, but at least the receptacle is fitting, and I got a little bit of a gap there. So I'm going to glue it in areas and then work up some sawdust and just build in the gaps. Then when it's all done, sand it. Hopefully, when I storm away and I look at the box, even though it does look kind of odd, at least I'll know, hey, there's my caliper. So I hope I didn't bore you too bad. Yeah, I think I could have done a better job on that build. But you know, I think a person that's out for almost 6 months, I think you do get rusty. Anyway, take a look at my cabinet here. Last fall when we had Woodworkers in America in Kansas City, I was given some of these stickers, and of course it was like a week after that or so that I had the operation, and then it was so darn cold in the shop that I didn't want to put these stickers on this cold metal. But now today it's warmed up a bit. I cleaned up the surface, and these are the guys that I met at Woodworking in America, so I put their stickers up. Just recently though, Matt Cremona sent me his flat mat and his sticker, because I just recently purchased a t-shirt from him, so I'm anxious to get that on. Should have had it on today, but I don't. So there you go. Until next time, be safe out in the shop, and we'll see you later.